Once a proud Premier League team, Stoke City stood tall among the giants of English football. They tasted the thrill of European football in 2011, proving they were capable of competing with the best. But now, things are a little different. From battling for survival in the top tier to fighting for relevance in the Championship, Stoke City's fall from grace has been hard to watch. But this story is far from over. In this video, we take the reins of Stoke City and begin a journey to restore them to their former glory. Over the next 5 seasons, we have 3 goals. Goal 1 is to get back, well, where they belong, into the Premier League. Goal 2 is to fight for that Premier League title. And goal 3 is to reach and attempt to lift any 3 of those European trophies, all while playing the famous Stoke way. 4-4-2, direct football, you know, the Stoke way. Let's get into it. And this is going to be Stoke City in the game. Now, this has been coming a long time, I will be honest with you, but I've been trying to find the right formation, and I think I've got there today. Now, this club has got a lot of history, jokes aside. They're known for the rainy nights in Stoke, hence the thumbnail, but deep down, they are a club with some big history. Now, in terms of the reputation, it's not too bad, a 3-star reputation, very good training facilities, okay youth facilities, but the youth recruitment is a little bit on the downside. But we're not looking for wonder kids in this rebuild. We're looking for people that can whip the ball into the box. A Dwight McNeil would be ideal. Now, in terms of the owners, they absolutely love the club, which is a big bonus. But realistically, this club, I will keep saying it, they have got some trophies in their cabinet. They're not a club with no history. They've been about for a long, long time. And what I will say is they've got 1 Carabao Cup to their name. So let's have a little bit of respect. They've got 2 Sky Bet championships. Hopefully, by the end of the day, we can sort of add at least, well, definitely a championship trophy added into that collection, hopefully a Premier League, and hopefully a European one, but that is quite a lot to ask for. The tactic I'm going to be playing is going to be a positive 4-4-2. This might get more negative as we get promoted, if we get promoted, I hope we do, in 5 years. But for the Championship, I genuinely believe that they're just having a bit of an off-season. Now, this is a video game. We've got good players. Chances are we are going to do better than what you see them do in real life. Now, this man up front, I am very excited to use because I signed him in a previous rebuild last year, I believe, and he was absolutely incredible. Now, he doesn't even look that good in terms of attributes, but trust me, that guy can score a couple of goals, as can this guy, who is going to be Tom Cannon. Now, this guy, again, actually has got good attributes, 15 finishing, great composure as well, and honestly, just these 2 up front, I think are going to work really well. Of course, we are playing a target forward, you have to, and the wingers are going to be aiming to cross at the far post, so the right wing, that way, the left wing, that way as well. And I will say, these wingers are going to be defending, but also getting forward. So, out of possession, we're going to have like a back 8, which just screams of Stoke City. Now, you'll be happy to know, we are also slightly more direct. So, for anyone wondering, yes, we have embraced the real Stoke City way. Now, in terms of competitions, we are playing in 3 in that first season, and they are predicting a finish of 14th place. Now, I think in the first season, I'm not saying we'll get promoted, but I think we can at least get into the playoffs. I genuinely do. The tactic looks good. The players we've got are actually fairly decent for this league. Not the best of the best. Not many of them, I think, would actually survive necessarily in the Premier League. A little look at this guy as well, because he's quite well-rounded and very versatile. But realistically, let's just aim for a little bit of a playoff push in this first season. Again, if you do enjoy the rebuilds, please do leave a like and subscribe. And once again, make sure you've got that bell turned on to never miss another upload. And at any point, if you fancy carrying on this rebuild or getting a tactic, and that is all my tactics and all of my rebuild files, you can check it out on the Patreon in the link below. We've got a 20% discount running off until the new game, because I understand people are getting a little bit fed up, so I thought I'll try and help out a little bit. So it is going to be in the description below. Let's go over into season 1 and let's just aim the same for the playoffs. So as you'd expect in the Cups, especially the Carabao Cup, it's not going to be a pretty sight. We are going to fall to Sunderland inside of, the 2nd round. So it's a very early exit, but realistically, these Cups aren't our real worry. Can be said for the FA Cup, a 3rd round exit this time against Bournemouth in a 3-1 absolute obliteration. Again, it is a little bit annoying to go out so early, but are we realistically going to win these? Probably not. I tell you what, though, it's absolute heartbreak for the league, because you can see here, you can see who actually did win it. It is going to be Leeds. And we then go over and we do play Swansea in the semi-final of the playoffs, which we beat them, and we get into the final, and look at this. We do get quite badly beaten by Middlesbrough 3-1. So unfortunately, we are going to remain in the Championship. Now, the league table, we were actually quite good, but the issue is a few of these losses were so close in terms of the games by 1-goal deficits. We're conceding a fair few goals, which is to be expected, but the goals and the games are so tight. So just about ironing out some of those results, and I think we will be good to go into the next season and gain promotion. But fair play to Leeds, Bristol and Middlesbrough. The teams that go down are Blackburn, Portsmouth and Watford as well. So a few big names going down as well in the rankings. But realistically, for a first season, I'm not going to complain too much. Actually, a player that we didn't even mention in Sam Gallagher. Up front, we didn't even talk about this man. Obviously come in and scored 24 goals. Tom Cannon done very well with 21. We have used this guy at Plymouth, and we know how good he can be, so that explains why he is going to be in the 4th top goal scorer. In terms of other players that I've got to sort of shout out is going to be Million. He comes in here, and I tell you what, a player we did talk about, very versatile, very young, can play on the right and the left-hand side of the pitch as well, and he also does pick up the most assists, so realistically, he definitely played a big part in why we were actually quite good in this league, alongside of Sam Gallagher and also Tom Cannon. So that is going to end the first season. Again, it's not brilliant, but we are Stoke City and we are attempting to play a more, let's say, non-meta way in this game. A 4-4-2 long ball is very rarely used, but do you know what? For an entry season, I will take it. In terms of money, we're not going to have loads. We are going to have a total of £6.5 million, which is okay for Stoke City, to be honest. Of course, any player we do sell, we only get 60% of it, so I'm not going to try and let anyone go, really, because this team isn't far off getting into the Premier League. Now, in terms of the contracts, now this is where it gets a little bit difficult, because for starters, Tom Cannon, Andrew Moran and also Ashley are also on loan. So, for example, I would love to get Tom Cannon, but as you can tell, even if we were to get him on that transfer value, which is asking for a miracle, that would wipe our entire budget out. So we might see a season where, well, rebuild, where he only lasts one season, and that would be an absolute nightmare, because as you can see, apart from Sam Gallagher, he was pretty much our top goal scorer. Well, definitely was a top goal scorer, but we have got a lot of contracts expiring this year, but also next year. Some of them have got to go in the future, but for now, I could do with the legs in the team. So a lot of this transfer budget, I feel, is going to be spent by actually trying to keep the players here. So let's go over. It's going to be a very, very long transfer window, mainly in terms of the contract negotiations, because a lot of these players will think, I want to move on now. You know, we didn't get promoted. I'm getting offers from bigger clubs. Let's see what happens, because I think we're going to be pushing it with 6.5 million. So the first player we are going to bring in is going to be a Rocky Barishi coming in. He does come in on the free and actually drops a great performance in a 6.89 average rating. Now, this guy isn't going to be a Premier League quality centre-back, maybe, in fact, a good Sky Bet League 1 player, but he comes in, he plays almost every game, and do you know what? I tell you what now, for a Championship centre-back, he's got a lot of the attributes I would want. Is he someone I would usually sign? No. Was he signed because he was free? Yeah. We also are going to go and pick up Killian Phillips. He comes in again for a total of £0. He only plays 10 games, but he does get a goal and drop a 6.78. Again, for a player like this, he is purely there for the legs in midfield. We didn't really lose many players. We only lost one player, which I will show you right at the end. But just to add to the squad, because the Championship is no easy competition. Someone that will dominate the Championship, and did dominate the Championship, is Ryan Brewster. Now, this guy did cost me absolutely nothing, so you can sort of get the theme of what we're going down this sort of transfer window. Basically anyone that's going to cost me nothing. He comes in and bags 36 goals, 4 assists and drops a 7.28. Now this addition could be the difference from being in the Championship to getting promoted to the Premier League, because when you've got a striker scoring 36 goals, he basically can carry the team on his back, and I knew he would. And yes, he's on a fair bit of money per week for this club, but do you know what? He cost me literally nothing. And if we ever did want to sell him for whatever reason, we could easily get 15 million, because that's only his base value. Lastly, purely for backup again, because we did have a fair few injuries last season, we are going to pick up Carlon Grant. Now, he comes in again on the free. Again, he's not a star player, I am aware of that, but he comes in, plays 5 games where he needs to, he gets an assist, plays very well in those 5 games as well, and he just come in purely for the backup. But we only lost one player. That is going to be Edwin Anderson. Again, a player that actually looks somewhat okay, but he does go on the free, unfortunately, and he doesn't play that well, so not a great move for him. But overall, I think we have brought in 4 very, very good signings. We have spent literally no money, apart from the wages, of course. I'm feeling confident after seeing especially Brewster's performance that we can at least go for another playoff push. Let's go and see. Tell you what though, you wouldn't be expecting to see this. This is going to be the FA Cup because we got very far in this competition. We actually beat Crystal Palace in the quarter-finals, a Premier League team, 4-3 in extra time. We then go into the semi-finals and batter West Brom 4-1. Luckily, we didn't draw one of these teams early on because we would have been in trouble, but of course, that means we do play Arsenal. Then, although we didn't win, do you know what? It's a 1-0 defeat. That was very, very close. So, considering we're only really one full season in with transfers, this is going really well. That is a much better FA Cup performance. Unfortunately, we had one of the most dramatic games I have seen in the Carabao Cup. We are going to bail out in the 4th round in a 10-goal game, which we lose to penalties against Brighton. What are Brighton doing? They should not be letting us get anywhere near. And the Championship, we have done it. I will say we are not going to take home the official trophy. We are 1 point behind Oxford United, but it is literally 1 point, which of course means we are promoted. And it is going to be this man here. This guy I knew would make the difference. Ryan Brewster comes in and literally single-handedly carries us in the goal scoring regard. No other players are going to be in there. He's outscoring Rodrigo Muniz, Fabio Silva, right as well. And I mean, it's a 10-goal advantage from first to second. Also picks up the second best performer in the entire league. We are nowhere near the clean sheets, which I will be working on. And in terms of the assists, it is going to be this man again. Millian has been such a great player. I will be honest with you, he is playing a mixture of roles. He is sort of playing on the right and on the left, but he can play either wing. And in this system, he is going to get the opportunity to fly up and put the ball in the box. And when you've got Brewster pretty much scoring every chance, he is going to get a lot of assists. So as an overall season, I'm going to say it, I am really happy. We've been promoted, FA Cup, pretty much, well, not won it, runners up in the FA Cup. The Carabao Cup was a pure miracle exit. Don't even know what happened in that competition, but overall it is really, really positive. Now, we are in the Premier League, and when you're in the Premier League, you usually get a bit of cash flow. And we sort of have, we have to be fair. We have got a total of 38.6 million. Still the 60% is only available to us, but that's nearly 40 million pounds to go in and strengthen this team. Now, if we look at this team, we actually do have two real bagsmen at the moment, Ryan Brewster and also Sam Gallagher. Now, Sam Gallagher is getting older. Ryan Brewster still is quite young. Unhappy with the manager's treatment of Ben Wilmot. Well, don't let that affect you, mate, because you scored 43 goals. Other than that, we've sort of got people just chipping in, really. This is a name I've not talked about. It's going to be Ryan Mame, I believe how you say that. He is, again, a player who is pretty direct, I will be honest with you, and he did chip in a few goals here, as you can see, with 11 in the season. Assist-wise, our wingers are having an absolute field day, which is really good to see. And also the strikers, Sam Gallagher, Ben Pearson in DM, it's nice to see. But looking at this team, between me and you, I don't know how many players here are going to keep you in a Premier League. Now, we've only got 40 million, so we have to be a little bit sensible. Now, I am going to give a chance to the likes of Brewster because I think he can play in the Premier League, and also Manhoef as well on the left-hand side. Now, the other players, we're not going to be able to replace everyone, so it's going to have to be a process of pretty much just throwing them in and sort of seeing who survives and then replacing them as we need to do so, because with 40 million, you can probably aim to bring in, well, maybe 4 players of 10 million each roughly, or maybe aim for some free agents as well. I'm not against going down the free agent path to try and just survive in the Premier League, but let's get in to the actual first official Premier League season. Yeah, it's not going to be easy, especially playing a non-meta tactic. We rarely do this. We've actually spent very wisely, to be fair. This is our most expensive signing, and do you know what? Probably the man of the rebuild, I will be honest with you, because he suits Stoke City down to a T. He's got good crossing, he can go down the wing, and do you know what? He can play on either wing as well. He comes in for a total of 13 million, picks up 18 assists and 3 goals, and that is exactly why I got him in, because he will happily go up and down each wing, he'll defend as well. He's got 12 tackling, he's a reasonable defender, and also he will go up and put a ball in the box, and he just screams a Stoke City player. What doesn't scream Stoke City is that wage though, but sometimes you got to pay to get the world-class players in. A player that I think is going to be a real good addition to the team, and clearly was, scoring 14 goals, is Adam Idar. He comes in for a total of 12.5 million, scores 14 goals in the league alone, and just partnering Brewster, he's a little bit quicker, so he can sort of play off Brewster a little bit. He can also play the target role perfectly if for some reason we want to have Brewster as the AF and switch them around. Of course, we can also do that. Now, this guy isn't just pace, he has got good finishing, decent composure, great pens as well, which which could be useful, especially in that game against Brighton we lost in. But I mean, realistically, for that price tag, you're not going to get much better that want to join a newly promoted team. Next up is going to be another free agent, and to be honest, he done virtually nothing. He didn't even really get a game. It is going to be coming in Kaiki on the free, a player that I did sign potentially for the future a little bit, but he didn't really get into the team, and it's going to sound mental this, but he's not as good as Dwight McNeil, so at the end of the day, he's got to take his chances. You're also going to pick up an experienced centre-back from Nottingham Forest and Norwich in Andrew. He comes in actually for 7 million and plays 7 games. So basically paid $1 million per game. Not a great return there. Drops to 7.10, so he does play quite well. He was brought in for the backup. Hindsight, looking back, recording this video, I probably overspent a little bit on a player like this, but I just wanted to get names into the team because we were lacking a bit of quality at the back. Loan signing, and definitely only going to be on the loan because he didn't play that well, that is going to be Hugo Bueno. Again, we did not really have a great backup left back, and I panicked. I needed someone quickly, and I went with someone that can put a ball in the box, and he can deliver a good ball. But I believe in how well he done, a 6.81. He did get 5 assists, but I mean, it's not exactly record breaking, and I think, to be honest with you, depending on what happens, if we are back down in the Championship, then I might get him. If we're in the Premier League, I won't. And a player that will stay with us, whether he's in the Premier League or the Championship, is going to be Calvin Ramsey. He comes in for 3.3 million. Again, the performance is very similar to the left-back I've just shown. I'm not being biased, but this guy has actually got a lot more potential. He's a decent Premier League player, and he still can grow. So despite quite a poor first season, his value has skyrocketed, and almost all of the attributes are on the up. So this guy has to stay. Now, in terms of players that we did lose, we only did lose 2 players. It's going to be Wickdor going there on the free, as you can see. Not a massive loss to us at the moment, and also Scott Morris is also going to leave, not lose. He might have lost. Did he do well? No, he dropped a 6.14, so he did lose as well. But realistically, looking at this transfer window, we have brought in, 6 players with £40 million? That's not half bad going. The question is, has that done enough to keep us in the Prem? Because I really don't fancy going into the Championship again, but if we have to, we have to. We're going to start off with the Carabao Cup, and I'll keep it blunt with you. These English Cups, especially this individual season, it's our first season in the Prem, I couldn't care about these because at the end of the day, I'd rather actually go out early and save the legs. Now, we do go out in the quarterfinals. It's not a bad loss against Newcastle, but to be honest, for this year just alone, I'll happily go out early doors. Seems when you want to go out, you don't go out, because we do actually get all the way to the semi-final. We do lose to Chelsea, but not a bad return, to be honest. A final one year, semi-final the next year. We're semi-consistent. But the question is, the Premier League. Let's go and... Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. Good God. Obviously, on this screen, it only shows the top 15. It shows the top 15, and we're in 16th place. Now, I will say, we only won 10 games. We lost 22 and drew 6. So, it's not ideal. Brighton, Leicester, and Oxford going down. We're definitely going to look at some of Brighton's players and Leicester's. But it's not a pretty season. I will be honest, it is not a pretty season at all. We're going to be honest. There's no point even looking at the stats individually because, I'll be honest, we are right down there. It's going to be Aston Villa winning the Prem behind Arsenal, Liverpool, City and Chelsea. Yeah, we have scraped that. I mean, we're talking 4 points. That is as close as it can really, really get. It probably didn't help actually doing quite well in these cups because it's more games to play. But as a squad, the stats aren't going to be remarkable, but it's nice to see. Rhian Brewster, 25 goals again. Idar with 20. These two probably carried us quite a fair bit. They probably are the reason we are still in the Premier League. Because other than that, I mean, Dwight McNeil had a great season with 20 assists. So he done very well. But apart from these 2 goal scorers and maybe the 9 and 8 here, we are really, really lacking in terms of the goal scorers. Now, that is to be expected, by the way, because we don't really have a full Premier League quality team. But if we look at the team, we can actually analyse it a little bit because we are going to have to see how much money we've got. We've got 83, that's better. We've got 83 million, so we can bring in quite a fair few players, but realistically, both of these midfield players are not going to be anywhere near good enough to get top of the Premier League or even in the top 4 realistically. The back line is very weak. Calvin Ramsey is the exception, but even then, he didn't have a great season. The goalkeeper, again, I imagine might be a good Sky Bet Championship player. Probably will try and bring in a goalkeeper because he's not going to get you anywhere near the top. Now, realistically, I'm looking at this team and I have made changes to the tactic. I've made the wingers attacking because we were a little bit stagnant in some of the games. But the issue with that is we now need to make sure we've got a good back line because the wingers are going to be more attacking, not as defensively minded, and the back line has to do its job. So let's get into season 4. Again, we've got a lot of money to use, 83 million. This is a decent season, I suppose, in terms of survival, but it's never nice knowing how close you are to the drop. So signing number 1 is going to be the Argentinian 23-year-old Aaron Anselmino, but that's how you say that. He comes in from Fulham, actually, for £16 million, drops a 6.73. It's not half bad, and is one of our better centre-backs, literally from the rip. What I like about this guy is multiple things. One, he's on the younger side, so we're not signing free agents that are 55. He's got great tackling, he is reasonably quick, great fitness, great strength, good stamina, and again, comes in as pretty much our best centre-back. So, for a first season, with us, it's not half bad. I've gone wingback crazy and decided to bring in Fresneda. Now, when this guy is available for this price tag, again, similar to Calvin Ramsey, he didn't have the great first season, a 6.6, you have to bring him in because his potential, if you played FM this year, you know how good he can be. And now we have got him and Calvin Ramsey to compete for right back. It might be one of the better right back partnerships in the Premier League. Right back wise, we do not need to sign another one for the entire rebuild. Also going to go with a former Chelsea player in Archie Brown. He comes in for a total of 11 million and absolutely does bits in the Premier League. 3 goals, 10 assists, 7.29 on the average rating. And I'll be honest, I've never signed him, but for that price tag, you're getting 14 acceleration, 14 pace, great jumping, good crossing, good tackling. You're getting nearly a 4-star ability complete wingback, or wingback, depends on what you want. For that sort of money, you're not going to find many people, especially people that want to join a team that just finished 14th. So do you know what? In terms of players that were on the market, he was probably the best option. We also are going to pick up a player for the future, a wonder kid who is going to come in on loan only. I will say on loan only. He helped us out big time here apparently, because when you've got a wonder kid, you know, scoring 2, 6.91 at centre-back, playing a load of games, he clearly is something special. But as you can imagine, with that value, it's only going to be a loan for 1 season. But hopefully that will just push us up the table a little bit, which will give us more money to go in to season number 5 already in the next season. But this guy is something special, but I'll be lying if I'm going to say I'm going to sign him, because we probably can't afford him. But we could afford, and a player that I am delighted to have at Stoke City is going to be Madueke. He comes in for 9.7 million, 13 goals, 11 assists, 7.22, and we have now got Dwight McNeil and Madueke, 2 very good players that both can put a ball in, both are quite quick, and I tell you what, Madueke might be a little bit more attacking, he's not really as defensively minded, but with the likes of Fresneda and Ramsey, who are really good right backs, we can afford to have a winger who is mainly set on the attack duty. And do you know what? In terms of players, he pretty much offers everything you would want for a winger. Fantastic player. Go-to sign of mine, especially when you pick him up on the free, is going to be Fabian Rieder. He comes in, drops a 6.92, 4 assists as well, and what I will say is, in terms of just overall ability, he is what I like to call just balanced. You know, he's not necessarily standing out in too much regard, apart from, to be fair, 16 passing, 16 technique, and great decisions. He's a player that will play anywhere in midfield. He's still semi-young, only 26. We got him on the free, great for business as well. If he ever wanted to move on, it's an easy 40 million, probably 50 million, and he is probably, well, not even probably, he is our best midfield player at the current state. See, because we also picked up Adam Wharton to partner him in midfield. So we've now got Adam Wharton and Rieder. What a midfield upgrade. He comes in on loan fees of 8.7 million with a permanent deal in place afterwards. He picks up 7 assists and 2 goals, 6.94 on the average rating. And this guy is just absolutely incredible. 16 passing, great first touch. Tackling, we are going to work on a little bit with him. As you can see, we have been. Great technique, great vision, great flair. He's reasonably quick for a sort of holder midfield player, and he's only 24, one of the hottest prospects in the English Premier League, and he's English, the Stoke City way, great for registration as well. And you know what? I think with these signings, realistically, this page alone, we do lose a few players here, but they're players that simply aren't Premier League quality. With these 4 players here, and obviously these lads here, that is what, 3 on that page, 4 on that page, 7 new signings, which I would argue all are upgrades. I think we might have a chance of getting in the top 10. Let's go and have a look. Of course, first is going to be the Carabao Cup, and we are going to go out in the semi-final, but we obviously bottled it quite a fair bit, because I will say the game was very, very close. Only a 5-4 loss against Arsenal. What is it, this video with high-scoring games? I mean, we weren't far off reaching the final, but then we would have faced Liverpool, and I guarantee Liverpool are looking quite good. Yeah, they're looking pretty decent. And they must have been quite decent, because they beat us in the quarterfinals as well. Again, only on penalties, though. It seems that we can go toe-to-toe with these big teams, but it just depends the luck on the day, and at the moment, we can't win a single penalty shootout. But the main thing is, how do we do in the Premier League? That is incredible. That is a lot better. A top 6 finish, 20 wins. That is a lot better than last season. 9 draws and also 9 losses, meaning we have already gone back into the Europa League. Now, one of the main sort of goals which I really wanted to try and hit was to win a European trophy. We have now got one chance to do that, which is quite a big ask. And of course, the other main aim was to win the Premier League. So we've got one more roll of the dice after this season to win the Prem and the Europa League, because that is the only European chance we are going to have. Now, realistically, I'm looking at this, and it's like Rhian Brewster and Adam Idar, second and third top goal scorer. So in terms of goal scorers, I think we are fine. In terms of the assists, we've got Dwight McNeil getting more than Florian Wirtz, Bernardo Silva, and Caicedo. Where we're struggling, I think, is a little bit at the back in terms of goalkeeper, which I should have brought in, but to be honest, the money was very limited. And also maybe another centre-back, because I feel like we've got one last chance to do this. We're a lot off the top. I know we're a load of points off the top, but realistically, the goal scorers are there, the assists are there. It's the back line that I think is the issue. And in these cups as well, we are doing quite well. But I mean, in terms of the squads, we can go and have a little look right now. 32 and 29. You can win Premier League titles with 2 players doing that. Quite easy. The assists, we've got 4 players with 10 plus assists, which is very good for these level of players. Dwight McNeil and Madueke. Can they win me a Premier League? When you say it like that, it sounds a little bit mad, doesn't it? But we can see what we can do at the end of the day. But I do think it is the back line. If we, for example, go and have a little look, I did lock in Adam Wharton to clarify for the last season. We can go and see that obviously goalkeeper is the must-sign position. You then look at the other centre-backs, and obviously the likes of Mass would be perfect to bring in, but I imagine he is going to cost me 35 to 53 million. And how much have we got? We've got 82, so it would almost eat all of our budget up. And the guy next to him, obviously this lad we brought in, is actually a really good player, but the backups and all of that aren't exactly great. Also maybe a better backup midfield players, just backup and first team goalkeeper and centre-back. I think that's going to be the aim. That has to be the aim. Let's get in to the final and the 5th season, and we're going to try and perform a miracle, win the Europa League, win the Premier League. It's going to be a big ask, but let's see who we can bring in first, because maybe we'll look at it in a different light after we go out and sign Mbappe and Haaland. So the first sign-in is the permanent agreement for Adam Wharton. He comes in for 21.5 million, and he drops a fair rating, 6.81. He played a ton of games. Whenever a player plays that amount of games, to drop nearly a 7, you have to give him credit. He's playing very, very well. The only downside is that current ability, Sky Bet Championship. Come on, Adam. For a Tottenham fan, I'm sorry, because I know you love this guy, but he also is perfect for this team because he can deliver a ball, he is quick, and that's pretty much all I'm interested in. Anything else doesn't really matter. We are going to pick up Brennan Johnson. He plays a load of games, 8 goals, 13 assists, drops a 7.11. He was not brought in for a guaranteed first-team player. He was there to sort of play alongside of Dwight McNeil, Madueke, just be a better backup player at the end of the day. And he has obviously shown quite a fair bit of talent because he's played a lot of games, which means I imagine either Madueke or Dwight McNeil has been put out of the team. And, you know, I don't like that, but at the end of the day, if someone comes in and outperforms them, who am I to say no? We've finally got a goalkeeper, and one thing I hate about this game is you have to spend big money to bring in a Premier League goalkeeper. I wanted one with experience. We pick up Philip Jorgensen. He comes in for 45 million. Serious money spent. Drops a 7 rating, which is completely fine, but he concedes 47 in 38 games. So, yeah, let's just move on. And to strengthen that back line, although I have just seen our keeper concede so many, we picked up Zabrani. Now, he actually cost me 41 million. We did try and sign the Wonder Kid, by the way, but he was not interested. This guy was. Drops to 7.02, a great average rating, 6 goals as well. He is absolutely incredible in terms of the mental attributes and also the technical, and not half bad in physical. He's a great centre-back, and that is going to be our final signing of this rebuild. Now, in terms of players we've brought in, so Adam Wharton, we've sort of, you know, he's done quite well. Brennan Johnson done very well. Jorgensen, he done a good rating but conceded a lot of goals. Zabrani played quite well. I'm still quite nervous about the back line. Now, we have got one last chance. These next sets of results are the last in the video. We have got to try and win the Europa League and the Premier League. I don't know if we're going to get it done. Be sure to leave a like if we do and subscribe. But let's go and have a little look, because I think at a push, we're going to get top 4. But we are going to start off with the Europa League, because we do actually get off to a great start in the round of 16. We are going to beat Lazio, well, that is incredible, 6-2 over 2 legs. A team in, they're not one of the better Italian teams, but they are still a decent team. The quarterfinals would be Ajax 7-0. Ajax are on a bit of a dip as a club at the moment, though, in terms of in the game as well. And the semi-finals, we are going to go through and beat Ace 4-1. I don't know who they are really, but that does match up in a Leeds final. Oh, we can beat Leeds. Let's go and have a little look. It's only going to be 1 goal, and it is going to be a scrappy goal, but the goal is going to come for Stoke City. Now, I will say, this is going to be a massive goal ticked off, and it is going to be Zabrani, of course, a header from across in the box. What a game. 5th round of the FA Cup, we are going to lose again, and this is going to be to Chelsea. Only 1-0. I tell you what, we're not getting battered by these big teams. It's a shame we can't get to another final. And the Carabao Cup, once again, it is going to be a very close game. This time we're going to go out to Arsenal, and I mean, again, it's a shame. I'm not gutted because we've won the Europa League, and also we have won the Premier League. That's a little surprise for you. We have won the Premier League and the Europa League. Now, the Premier League, I will say, Adam Idar is going to be the saving grace. I never thought I would say that about a Norwich or previous Norwich player, but he has been incredible this rebuild. Dwight McNeil, Brennan Johnson, and Fabian Rieder in the most assists as well, alongside of Erling Haaland, which is a bit weird, but overall, a great season. Our goalkeeper joint 3rd, that is the big difference as well. But the losses are going to come in against Tottenham, Villa, Liverpool, City and West Ham. Draws, wow, some good draws in there to be fair as well. But it was a very close win. I mean, Man City were 1 point off. So, I mean, it was a very, very close season. And at the end of the day, you know, I imagine we lost to them once, didn't we? We must have beat them the other game, or at least drew to them. Did we draw to them? We did, and that could have been the difference from them winning to us winning. And obviously, we have got the job done, and I will be honest with you, that is a clutch final season, a big clutch final season. We've ticked off all of the goals, promotion, Premier League win, European win. That is a perfect end to the rebuild. And now we can see the reputation's gone up, and look at the trophy cabinet. We've got the Premier League, the Europa League, of course, the main aims. We didn't get another Sky Bet Championship because we didn't win it. We got promoted simply. But as a squad, yeah, 51, 31, 15, 12 from Zabrani. Now, we saw him in the Europa League final. That's why you need to go and get the set pieces as well. 10 for Dwight McNeil, Archie Brown with 7. And assist-wise, we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players. Dwight McNeil, I'm going to crown as signing of the rebuild. 28 assists. Absolutely incredible. 19 for Brennan Johnson, 17 for Calvin Ramsey, 14 for Rieder, Brewster with 12, 10 for Archie Brown, and even Idar coming in there with 10. Now, realistically, I have left you with, I'm not going to say a perfect team because it is designed to be Stoke City. You have got a couple of injuries to deal with, I will be honest, but if you are interested in getting this rebuild file and also the tactic that got Stoke City to Premier League winners and European winners, you can go over to the Patreon in the link below where you can get all of my year's tactics and all of this year's rebuilds, and we currently have a 20% off sign-on, so make sure you go on over and get involved. We've got close to 5,000 members right now. You get daily tactics, daily rebuilds, you get all sorts of content. Make sure you go over and check it out, and make sure you also send me some pictures of what you do with the save, because you've got a bigger budget than I ever had. You've got £102 million to go and spend. You're obviously going to be in the Champions League. That's going to be the challenge. Try and win the Champions League with Stoke. If you manage that, then fair play. I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm out.